Stars are volcanoes? Yes, there's a new channel out there, and this guy believes that stars are volcanoes. I thought I had heard it all, but apparently not. Okay, Mr. High Vibes, give us your derp. I mean, please enlighten us. Roll VT.
Hello everybody, this is my first video.
Well, with what you're going to tell us, I would hope it's your last. Unfortunately, I know it isn't.
And this video is on the constellation that's over Australia, and it's called the constellation Crux.
You do know that the night sky appears to wheel above us, don't you? And that it slowly changes over the course of a year. There is not a constellation that just sits over Australia.
If I'm pronouncing that correctly, I know it's spelled C-R-U-X, and that word is short for cross. Now the question is, what is the meaning of the 6 stars on the Australia flag? And here's the answer. You can look it up. The stars. The Commonwealth star is the emblem of Australia Federation. 6 points represent the states, and the 7th all the federal territories, which together constitute the nation. The Commonwealth of Australia, the constellation of the Southern Cross / Crux, indicates the geographical location in the southern hemisphere of Australia. Let me say that again. The Commonwealth of Australia, the constellation of the Southern Cross / Crux, indicates the geographical location of the southern hemisphere in Australia. That constellation, Crux.
Well, only insofar as it just indicates that Australia is in the southern hemisphere. It's not a roadmap to the exact location of the continent.
Better known as Cross, which is above Australia right now. And I learned this by using the Flat Earth model via Android, the program.
Well, you do better at looking at a basic book about astronomy.
And I was just looking at it, you know, how when the sun rotates its way around and it turns dark, and I'm looking at the constellations. I'm like, are these the stars? And it comes to find out that the landmass of Australia, probably the mountains, the rock, are shining.
Well, I didn't expect that.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Okay? And they shine from below to above the firmament, and it shines on the firmament and appear as stars.
Well, this is a new one on me. So you're saying that the surface of the earth is shining and being reflected. Well, what happens when there's a power cut in a city? Does a star suddenly go out? Or perhaps a whole galaxy?
Yes, that's right. The constellations are on the ground.
So can we go and see them then?
As above, so below. Everything we see above comes from below, including the sun, which I'm entitled to believe that the sun comes from the sunlight comes. The sun is riding on the belt of the equator, okay, right there in front of Australia, and I guess that's a whole nother video. But
not only is it a whole new video, it's a whole new level of stupid.
Volcano Ambrum, the size of the mouth of Volcano Ambrum is 12 miles wide, 7 kilometers round in diameter. And you think that, knowing that there's a firmament above, you think that's not going to shine up there?
So you think the sun is a reflection of a volcano? How does it move across the sky? What happens when that volcano is not active? So many questions, so much stupidity, and so little time.
Okay, it's just close to the equator and closer to the arc of the firmament and the ice wall. It's right there near the ice wall. So that's where the constellations come from. The constellations come from below, come from the landmass, and they're rock, and they shine above on the firmament. The rotation of it all. See, I heard some people saying that the firmament itself rotates. I don't believe that.
You know, it's starting to sound to me that you're just believing stuff with no evidence. Depending on visibility, the human eye can make out around 5,000 stars with the naked eye. That's one hell of a lot of volcanoes. And of course, if you use binoculars or a telescope, you're going to see a lot more. I think you've got some explaining to do. I mean, do you have a model for this?
Hello everybody, this is my flat earth model. As you can see, there's Australia right there, and you can see all the continents. You know, let me get a little closer, up close and personal.
Lovely. Did your little kiddie make it?
Okay. Now, you see the red spot? That's a volcano that I have, you know, on this flat earth model.
Go on.
And the hottest thing known to man is the volcano. It's not the sun. It's not the sun, it's the volcano. Why? Because the volcano shines from below and shines above on the crystalline plasma dome that's above us.
Ah, crystalline plasma. Why didn't I think of that? Of course, you do have a photo of this dome, or perhaps radar measurements. Has someone been to it? We got any samples? You're making this up, aren't you?
And the rotation of it all comes from the waters, the ocean. And what makes the ocean rotate is the magnetic field in the middle, or in the middle of the pole, right here in the middle of the earth. And that's, you know, when you look up, you see the North Star. That star doesn't move.
Yes, it does. If you're talking about star trails, Polaris draws a little circle around the North Polar Point. All stars move, and the star with the greatest proper motion is Barnard's star.
And everything around it moves, the stars. Why? Because your ocean is rotating.
I would love for you to explain how the oceans whizzing around a flat plane are going to move the stars around.
Right? And everything below that shines brightly from the volcano, that shines above, that casts light from below and casts light above and bring light back down, is from the volcano.
Hold on, this isn't quite making sense. So we got a volcano down on Earth, or volcanoes, shining up, reflecting in this crystalline plasma dome, and yet the oceans move the stars around. So the oceans are moving the reflections in the dome. Right.
And the brightness of the sky comes from the brightness of the crystalline dome, which is white. That's why when the sun is high in the sky, it looks bright and white. And when it's low, when so-called sun rises, you see the sun on the lower part of the dome. As the water, the ocean water rotates around, it gives the impression of rising, and it moves.
So this dome is white, making the sun look white, which is a reflection of a volcano and is moved around by the oceans. And yet when the sun is low in the sky and it appears orangey yellow, what's that caused by then? Is the dome a different colour lower down?
The reflection of the volcano on the crystalline dome moves because it's just a reflection above from below, the blue waters. That's why your skies is always blue.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
And it is what it is. That's my belief. That's my theory. Now, I'm a flat earther. Now, everybody's, trying to figure out where our sunlight's coming from. A lot of people are saying that it's coming from
The sun?
outside of the dome or whatever, but I just have to believe that it comes from this volcano because it's round, and I've seen pictures of the inside of Volcano Amrum.
And I have to believe that if you own any teaspoons, you should take them back to the shop and tell them that you're not safe to use them.
And the ridges around the rim of the volcano looks identical to photos of the sun that I've seen, videos where people zoom in and then I look at the ridges of the sun from the videos. It looks identical. So this is my flat earth model. I guess this trying to figure out what the sun is and where the sunlight's coming from is another video, but letting you guys know ahead of time. I believe, and I think I'm one of the only human beings that's living that believe this.
Well, let's hope so.
That's okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's no problem. I admit it, but nobody can prove it or disprove it until we figure it and find out what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. There's a distinct lack of education in the world, too much belief in conspiracy theories, and altogether too much time wasted on YouTube. Apart from my channel, of course. Ask these people. They know what they're doing. As always, massive thanks to all my patrons, including new patrons Elizabeth Sagan, Michael Burnham, Brian Ramsey, ex-Penguin95, Sharpwork, Stephen York, Uwe Closer and Wee Scott's Dog, and my latest patrons Marconius and Jason Itting. Thank you all so very much. But thank you for your offering today, High Vibes. I look forward to following your channel with interest. Until next time, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.